Wait, hold on a minute. How is this going to work? How can we see how far the Honda City Turbo 2 can make it through Gran Turismo 4 when half the races have bloody restrictions applied to them for drivetrain, country, power, even specific models? Well, I explained this challenge to the event organisers for these races and they kindly removed all of the restrictions for us across the entire game. Nice. This little turbocharged nugget, released in 1983, was genuinely quick for its time. Although it was only a turbocharged 1.2 4-cylinder, it made 110 brake, but this car is light, like 735 kilos. I don't actually know if that includes the bike in the back. I assume that it's not part of the weight in the game here. But this car as a whole is a super fun, great example of 80s tech, and it's gained a bit of extra internet attention recently as Mighty Car Mods featured it in their latest feature film, Key to the City 2, and that's actually what inspired me to make this video. So we have our Honda City, and you might have noticed we've got 0 credits. Our ass has gone broke because these things are not cheap anymore. So we're going to have to make some money winning races quick because in its stock form, this isn't getting barely anywhere through the game. So the rules I'm setting myself for this challenge, apart from starting with 0 credits, is that in this game, you can essentially have unlimited credits, right? By exchanging your time for credits, because you can just keep redoing races. Even when you get 6th place, you still get credits. So even just constantly getting last place, I could play this game for weeks on end and build up enough money to fully modify this thing to the max. So for that reason, I could just save myself some time and give myself like unlimited credits from the start. But I'm not keen on that. I want to see how far we can make it through the game just with the money we get from each race and making progressive modifications along the way. If we're approaching the finish line and it's obvious we're not going to get first, then we just have to exit out and try a different strategy. Now this game starts each car off with sport medium tires, but we're going to just pretend it doesn't. And I want to start on the worst road tires possible. We're going to have absolutely no driving age throughout and manual transmission. For the most part, I'll be using a PS5 controller just because it's super convenient. I can do these races and record clips in my spare time as and when, but there's only really limited control you can have over the car with a controller. So as we get further in the game, if it requires some really precise car control to win a specific race, then I'll bring it over to the sim rig and drive it properly. Now saying that, I'm allowed to use A spec or B spec. At the end of the day, this video is about the car, not about me specifically as a driver. Now I'm definitely better than the B spec AI, but in races where my car is obviously quicker than the opponents and it's clear that I'm going to win, I might as well just use B spec and fast forward it to save myself literally hours. And I'll reserve A spec driving for when the AI just doesn't have a chance, or for when I actually want to drive it. There will be no gamer moves, wall riding, smashing cars out of the way, huge lunges, using the other cars to brake, none of that. We're going to try and race as cleanly as possible, but given this is Gran Turismo, the AI do kind of drive into you and, you know, Rubbin's racing a little bit here and there, but nothing ridiculous. In addition to the credits we get from coming first, I am also allowed to sell the prize cars I get from each event. And you see my garage is actually full of all the prize cars from the licenses, but we're going to ignore those. And before we start, the car has fresh oil and a car wash. So with that said, let's make our way to the Sunday Cup. And you'll immediately notice an issue. Yeah, these tyres are absolutely whack. I only managed to overtake one car here. We don't have any credits, so we can't do any mods yet. But the grippiest road tyres are actually free in this game, and to be honest, I should probably just start with these from the get-go. As you can see, loads more grip now, and on my first attempt, I managed to make it all the way to 2nd place. Now, I actually recorded this footage before I had thought about the fact you could redo races, so I did actually cross the finish line in 2nd place, and I bagged myself the credits for that. So given we have no credits, my only option was to give it another go, and with some slightly better driving and a massive lunge on the final corner, we did finish in 1st place. Next up, we've got the driving park, and it's actually quite difficult to overtake here. It's very tight, and the AI don't really acknowledge you're there when you're alongside. But by taking the outside line and having a bit more power down the straight, we eventually make our way to 1st place, and once we're there, it's very easy to keep it. Next up, we've got High Speed Ring, and this is a really wide track, so loads of space to get past. We make our way up into 2nd place by the end of the 1st lap, and I'm just grabbing a toe from the MG in front here down the main straight. But just as I pull out into the oncoming air, the MG starts pulling away again, so I've got to tuck in behind. Now the tactic here is going to have to be to make enough of a lead so that by the time it comes round to the main straight again, where he clearly has a bit more power and top speed, he doesn't gain on me and pass me before the finish line. This isn't great. We're quite evenly matched. Am I going to be able to build up enough of a lead here? Here he comes. And I managed to take the last corner with enough pace to keep him at bay by the finish line. Special stage Route 5 reverse. Now I'm aware at this point the difficulty is ramped up a little bit. The cars are definitely a bit quicker, so I've got to drive A-spec at the best of my ability to stand a chance. I make it up into second place by the end of the first lap, but this 2-litre Megane just seems to be pulling away. And second place is all I can manage. We've got 2,800 credits, so that's enough to stick an exhaust on or something, but I'm curious to see what other events we can do and potentially win in our current state. So have a look at the FF challenge. 169 point race, that's not promising. Absolutely no chance. How about the lightweight cup? Alto, Cappuccino, Honda Beat, yeah, we should have this. We've got 4 laps at Motorland. It's a great little track, this. And we make our way up into second place by the end of the first lap relatively easily. And now we've just got the Honda Beat in front of us, which actually is giving us a little bit of grief. I am actually gaining on him though. And hilariously, the pressure from the Honda City Turbo behind was too much and he makes a massive mistake on the last lap. Thank you very much, I will take that. 2 grand, nice. Takuba, one of my favourites. This was pretty easy, made it to first place by the end of the first lap, and the Honda Beat here seemed to be trailing at the back. Perhaps the shame from the last race was just too much. And the last race in the Lightweight Cup brings us back to the driving park, similar to before, taking the outside line and just using our power down the straight. And it's here we get our first prize car, the Ginetta G4. See ya! So with the sale of that, we now have just shy of 19 grand, which is definitely enough to do some bits. Now with the tuning, what I want to try and do if I can is jump straight to the highest tier in any tuning category, for example the exhaust. I don't want to have to go through the first, second and then eventually third tier because that's just a waste of money given that we only have a limited amount of credits we can acquire. So I've got to think carefully about what tuning parts I apply at this point in the game. If we can afford the highest tier part in any category, then we might as well go for it because we're going to end up with it eventually. So after some consideration, I go for the racing exhaust, the racing chip obviously, the weight reduction stage 1 as you have to do these in order, the racing intercooler, and I also want to purchase the sport medium tyres, which we technically already have, but I'm pretending that we don't. So in order to simulate buying them, I'm just going to deduct 5,000 credits from my inventory in the save game editor. And if only we had one more credit, we could get the stage 2 weight reduction. I don't feel like there's much point upgrading the brakes, they feel really good as they are, and I actually love how the car kind of moves around on the stock suspension. It feels very realistic and kind of fun. I don't want to take that nuggety goodness out of it just yet, and I don't feel like we need to either. We just need a bit more power and a bit more grip. Now let's go and tackle Special Stage Route 5 again, and that should have made a big difference, hopefully. Yeah, this is loads better. End of the first lap and we're about to take first place. Very nice. Although this time we're overtaking a Punto. Nice. And to round off the Sunday Cup, we are at Twin Ring. And I notice we've got the Megane in the roster again. It's a pretty cool, simple track this. Couple of big straights. We make our way up into second place by the second lap. And catch a draft off the 106 into first and take home the win. Another prize car we can exchange for some credits. Now I thought what to do next. Let's change it up a bit. Go to the UK and see if we can abuse some minis. So I give this first race a go, Tokyo R246. And we have one lap here to go from last to first. And off the line I was thinking, hey, this is looking pretty promising. I'm kind of blitzing past these guys. But I just couldn't get past the single yellow Cooper S up front in one lap. So I thought, while we're in the UK, let's have a look at the Spitfire Cup. Back at Twin Ring, and yeah, this is going to be super easy. Super easy win. I'm way faster than these guys, so I just banged my way through the remaining 4 races in B-Spec mode for the first time. Now this is some great easy cash, 3 grand per race. And at the end we win, of course, a Spitfire. See ya! Now that's taken us all the way to 33 grand, so back to the tuning shop we go. And I'm going to nab myself the Stage 2 weight reduction. I'm eyeing up this Stage 2 Turbo. It would be a little bit of a waste of money because we would eventually go for the Stage 3, but it is only 12 grand and it might be really useful. Ports polish and engine balancing we would eventually get, so we could get them now, but I don't think they're going to make much of a difference for what they cost right now. Suspension, yeah, I could do. It would probably help a bit, but again, I'm really liking how this car kind of rolls around. It just feels really fun to drive like this, so I'm a little bit apprehensive to grab these. I eventually settle on the Stage 2 Turbo kit. It just makes sense, guys. You know it does. I'm just eyeing up these tyres as well. We can afford them, but they are pretty expensive. I'm just kind of curious to see what it's like with where we're at now. So I jump into the FF Challenge for another go. We've got plenty of power now, a bit more grip, and it's only a 9-point race, so we should have a decent chance here. Brother! Third gear! I'm just losing so much pace here. Let's just stick with it and see what we can do. This is actually a point where the sim rig would come in handy. I do have the accelerator mapped to the triggers, but the way that PCSX2 has mapped them, I don't really get that much control. You just have to touch this trigger really lightly and you get full accelerator by like halfway. So it's quite difficult to give really gentle accelerator inputs and you just end up spinning the wheels all the time. But with some perseverance, doing the best I could, I did manage to make my way through to first place. But my god, do we ever need some tires, or actually maybe an LSD. It's definitely time for an LSD. We needed one for a while now. There's a few options here, but for our front wheel drive turbo nugget, the only thing that makes sense really is the 1 or maybe the 1.5 way. But to be honest, braking action is pretty decent and the one way is designed with front wheel drive cars in mind. So we're going to grab the one way LSD here. We're definitely going to need some tyres, but going forward, once we're fully tuned up with maximum everything, we're probably going to want to be on the racing mediums or perhaps even the softs, which are very expensive. So I don't want to waste my money currently on like the racing hards, for example, which might, I can't remember from this game whether they actually offer that much more grip than the sport mediums or not. But I seem to remember they're not brilliant. So I'm just going to see how much of a difference the LSD makes first on its own. The stock gear ratio seems pretty good. I don't really want to go any closer gearing because we're just going to spin the wheels even more than we are at the moment. And our goal is to end up on the fully customizable kit, but we don't really need that right now. The ratios are just fine. Lighter flywheel will help with acceleration, but this is only actually a small engine, and in the lower RPMs, we're going to lose some decent momentum going uphill if we make the flywheel too light. But I'm going to grab the sport one just now. And the triple clutch kit we're going to need eventually, and it's not really that expensive and it will pair nicely with the flywheel, so I'm just going to grab that now. Nitrous oxide. It's tempting, but the tyres we're on aren't going to really let us use it much, so let's just leave that for now. Now these manufacturer specific races have really decent cash, so let's try the Suzuki K cars and we're going to go full B spec. I feel like this is going to be quite easy. And I was right, easy 15k there from the 3 races, and we also win the Suzuki Concept car, which we're going to sell, but not before trying the Suzuki Concept races. I've no idea how quick these things are, to be honest, but going by this race here, yeah, we're not quick enough yet. We should find the Toyota Vitz races pretty easy though. There's more of them here and they're 2 grand each. The first race is nice and easy here, but the second race, the B-Spec driver has some problems and yeah, we're not winning this one in B-Spec. So I bring it over to A-Spec to see what's going on, and I make it to first place by the end of the first corner. Perhaps I need to look for a new B-Spec driver. For the third race, I give my B-Spec driver another go at Twin Ring East, which is an easy win, but I noticed there's some big straights on this track, and our car definitely is pretty quick in a straight line. We've got tons of power, so perhaps the AI is just really struggling with our car in corners, because it is a bit of a handful. Tsukuba next, which again was a pretty easy win, but while I was watching the B-Spec, I noticed a few offs, so let's have a look and see what was going on. Right, so clearly the AI has no idea what to do with our car in its current state. Lastly, we're at Autumn Ring. This is a wicked little track. I'd love to drive this in real life. And we only managed third place in B-Spec with the Vitz Turbo way ahead, so let's have a go at it in A-Spec. Yeah, I'll give it that. This track is more challenging with our car in its current condition, but I did manage to make up to first place by the end of the first lap. And we crossed the line, winning the Vitz Cup and winning the Vitz RS Turbo. I bet that's a lot of fun to drive in real life. So let's go and sell these two prize cars and do a few more mods. Oh, we can't get anything for concept cars in this game. That's frustrating. 37 grand. Okay, let's get these tyres sorted probably. Racing mediums, I think, are the best choice. The softs are tempting, but I just don't think they've got the endurance. I think they'll wear too quickly on some of the longer races. So 22 grand for the mediums will leave us with 15. And I think it's probably time for some suspension. I think that will help us out a lot. So that will bring us to 342 credits, which basically is nothing, but it makes sense. It's kind of a waste to get these other ones when we're going to need that eventually. Other things, I don't feel like we need any more power at the moment. We just need to put it down on the road more effectively. The nitrous is tempting because that will be so good, but at the minute it's just going to spin the wheels with where we are currently. And we do still have the stage 3 weight reduction, and that's 20 grand, but if we get that, then we can't get the tyres. And the tyres are the most important thing right now, I feel. So let's grab these tyres, racing mediums. Yeah, just over 15k, and then let's drop the fully customizable suspension on, and we'll need to tweak this in the setup because it will just have a stock settings at the moment, which won't be great. Right, what can we do with 300 credits? You can put spoilers on. I forgot about that in this game. You can actually do that with this car. Wait, 1200 credits? I thought they were like 500. Well, okay, we can't afford that. How's the oil doing? Do we need to change the oil? No, that's looking all right, to be fair. Okay, we've done a lot to the car since we last tried any of these beginner events. So we should absolutely blitz through these now. Let's go to Suzuka. I'm going to hop into the settings and just dial in the suspension a bit. Obviously, this will require some setting and testing and setting and testing, but I'm just going to tweak it a bit. I'm going to drop the ride height a fair bit, and I'm going to give it some reasonably decent camber on the front and a touch on the rear, not too much on the rear. Let's go for A-Spec and just hear how the car feels. Wait, what's with the wheels? Yo! It's put the stock rims back on, I guess because I've now got racing tyres. That's a thing in this game. The tyres look pretty sick. And do you see, like, it was proper stanced out. We're definitely quicker than these guys, but we're not a rocket ship, really. To be fair, the difference that those tyres and suspension has made is absolute night and day. This feels so quick. This really feels like a racing car now. This thing is going to be absolutely ridiculous with the stage 3 turbo, the full weight reduction, and maybe like some super softs or something. Anyway, let's go sort these wheels out real quick. We can't be rolling on the standards. So we've got racing tyres now. Have a look in today's specials. And these look sick. Look at the dish on these in the today's specials as well. That's pretty lucky. I don't feel like we're going to find much better than these, although these chromy lip red tries do look all right. But now, come on, it's got to be these dishy boys. How crazy cool does that look? Moving on, we're at Hong Kong, and I'm going to try a B-Spec at first. No problems there, and we also smash it at Grand Valley. Twin Ring also giving us a go in B-Spec. Looking beautiful with these new wheels and those headlights at Twin Ring, and we complete that with no issues as well to win ourselves the Mazda 6 concept, which probably we can't sell either, no. Next, we've got the FR Challenge, so there'll be some slightly quicker cars in here. And we're up against some legends, the RX-7, Honda S2000. By the end of lap 2 in B-Spec, we were only in 3rd place, so that's not looking promising. So I'll give it a go in A-Spec. We're up into 3rd place, and I'm going to take a huge lunge down the inside to this corner, snagging first. Brakes are crazy on this thing, and look how freaking cool it looks. I can't get over it. I'm just falling in love with this car the more I watch it. I give B-Spec another go at Tsukuba, but my guy is all over the grass again here. So I've got to jump behind the wheel again in A-Spec and give it some beans. And look at that lead we've built up, very nice. B-Spec has no issues with Special Stage Route 5 though, but we're all over the grass at Laguna Seca, so again, jump behind the wheel, grabbing a toe off the Beamer up the hill, and past the corkscrew I slide past the RX-8 to take 1st place and take home the win. Next we're at the driving park, and I tell my B-Spec driver to push hard and he gets the job done. Lovely little shot here. And that wins us the FR series of races and an old ass Skyline. That's something we can definitely sell. Now let's jump into the 4-wheel drive challenge. Again, some pretty nice cars in the lineup here. I'm going to try B-Spec first. We were in 1st place, but we get taken on the straight of Grand Valley. And we're still in 2nd, but we take 1st. Can we keep it? Just about. Autumn Ring, we're all over the grass here, miles away from the Quattro in front. Can we do it on the 2nd attempt? My guy is still all over the place. Right, 3rd time lucky. Entering the 4th lap, it looks like there's a decent battle going on there, but can we get 1st? Nope, not quite. So I jump behind the wheel and finish the race with a 14-second lead. No problems at Suzuka by the looks of it. That should be easy. El Capitan is a bit of a mission to drive, to be honest. Fun when you get it right, but my god, the elevation. So I give it another go, and my guy here has the biggest crash out that I have seen yet. 3rd attempt, and finally we get there. At Fuji, we're still in 3rd place by the final straight of the last lap, so I've got to give this one a go in A-Spec. Nice big lunge around the outside, nothing wrong with that, even though I get driven into on exit. And we find our way past the Evo to complete the FR series, winning ourselves this random Toyota race car that I'm sure we won't be able to sell either, no. Now we've got the MR challenge, driving park 3rd place by the last lap. I don't think that's going to end too well, so let's come out of here for a minute. And now we've got a bit of money, let's see what else we can do to the car. So might as well get the port polish at this point. We've still got the stage 3 weight reduction sitting here. That's going to take up most of our credits, but given what's left on the table and still affordable, that's the best boost in speed we're going to see. Although unfortunately, it's still not enough to get us a 1st place in B-Spec. So let's jump behind the wheel and see what the crack is. And there's me taking 1st place from the Clio Sport. Wait, those were mid-rear? Jesus, that's freaking awesome. Any better luck at Autumn Ring? Nope. These are low point races. It should... Oh, wait, what's going on here? Why are we in the gravel? We haven't even started yet. So as a result of our beach excursion, we are far behind the rest of the pack here. So we've got 2 laps to catch up and pass. I make it up to 2nd place with only an NSX to get past, which we manage in standard procedure. It's so funny watching this little nugget past the legend that is the NSX. Next at New York, I'm thinking there's probably no point trying B-Spec. I might as well just go straight to A-Spec. And by the end of the 1st lap, I am in 1st place, but the NSX is coming up hot on the rear. This is where we could really do with that nitrous. We're side by side into T1, but I do have the inside line and the later braking points, so we maintain our 1st position. Although the NSX does stay pretty hot on our tail. But by the end of the lap, I do have enough of a lead to pass the line in 1st place. Again, Fuji, straight to A-Spec, might as well. Same as before, I'm trying around the outside to get the inside line on this next bend, but I don't quite make it here. But we do get past on the next bend. And there were some great battles in this race, really fun to drive, but my braking points are just so much later than the AI. Even if we don't take the ideal line through the bend, they just don't really stand a chance. My B-Spec driver has a good record at El Capitan, so I give him another go, and we do take home the win here, bagging us the Lotus Esprit Turbo, which we can sell for 10 grand. Lovely jubbly. We've got a bit of money now, and I'm thinking it's time for nitrous. Hell yeah! We need a bit of help on the straights against some of these more powerful, more aerodynamic cars. I am eyeing up the transition here, but I don't think it's time yet. Instead, I opt to get the engine balancing out of the way. And we've still got enough cash to go spoiler shopping. I think we could benefit from the aerodynamics here now that we're going to be going a lot faster. Next in the beginner races is the Spider and Roadster Cup. Okay, I need to have a word with the officials about that one. We'll come back to that and we'll give the sports truck races a go first. Fuji is an easy win. Laguna Seca is an easy win, and whatever this track's called is an easy win as well, getting us this Chevy concept truck which we can't freaking sell. And until the officials get back to me, that's all we can do in the beginner races so far. I'm heading back to the UK to take on the mini meeting again. Now that we've got a fair bit more power, this should go quite easily. There's a couple of Cooper S's here this time, and we're at Opera, which is quite a tricky track to navigate, especially for the AI. So I jump in A-Spec and unleash the nitrous for the first time. That is so freaking cool, and we're still on balanced power to duration ratio as well. It definitely came in handy here, and I caught up with the Cooper S by the end of the first lap. In Tokyo, B-Spec managed it in 1 lap, and we had quite a lead at SS Route 5. Same story here, and same again here, massive lead there, winning us the Mini Marcos. I'm feeling pretty confident now. Let's go up against some Aston Martins. Heavy but loads of power with these. We're sticking with the pack, but down the straight you can see they just pull away, and the B-Spec driver doesn't use the nitrous. So we might have a chance here, but I'm just looking for some quick B-Spec races for the time being. So we jump into the MG Festival. Should be pretty easy. First place here, first place here, first place here. And we were in first place here if my guy wasn't on the grass half the time, but I leave it to see if he can claw it back, and just about on the last lap we do make it back first. Easy win at Grand Valley as well. And we have ourselves an MGF which we can sell. Still in the UK, let's go up against some Lotus Elise. Now this would be our first ever championship race, so here we've got to win every single race in a row, otherwise we kind of screw up because we do need all golds for that completion percentage. I tried out in B-Spec first at Tokyo, and we've only got 1 lap here, and we're sticking with the pack, but yeah, there's no chance we're going to get first. So I back out of that and I go for the Lotus Classics instead. This should be a lot easier, they're much older and slower. Massive lead on the first race, easy win on the second, easy win on the third, same again on the fourth, and no dramas on the 5th race. This bags us not only £2 per race, but also 10 grand for winning the entire championship. Plus, we win the Lotus Elan, which we can sell. So this is a massive chunk of money now that we've just acquired. After selling the Elan, the MGF, and the Mini Marcos, we are brought up to 88 grand. I know exactly where I'm going with that. Yes, we've upgraded everything in the engine. Right, at this point, the transmission looks cheap, so let's grab that. Now we've got some more power, the racing flywheel makes sense. And is it finally time for the big sporty boy? It's definitely tempting, we've got enough cash, but let me just check the tyres real quick. The racing mediums are doing a good job, but we still could do with some more grip. The super softs would be amazing, but it's such a massive investment, and as we get later in the game, we're going to have longer and longer races, and I feel like they might just wear out. So screw it, big spoily boy. It doesn't actually add that much more extra horsepower, but we're very light, so that's going to make a decent difference. Now we've done that, the only other upgrades we've got left is like the rigidity stuff, which I don't feel like we need just yet, and is really expensive. I think our remaining cash is better spent on some tyres, and it would be good to have an option between the medium and the soft, so I'm just going to grab the soft for now. Lord knows we're going to need some better rubber to put down the power from that turbo and the nitrous. Alright, feeling good. This thing is becoming an absolute monster. I've got a bone to pick with some Aston Martins. I just want to see if this is enough now to do it on B-Spec. Nah, they still pull away down the straight. I feel like this would be easy in A-Spec, but let's just see whether it's helped on the Elise trophy either. Well, we're up into second place. Can we nab round to first? Yes, we can! We can! Next, we're Autumn Ring, and we've only got 2 laps to do this. And nah, it's just not going to happen. Keeping with the UK trend, let's have a look at some TVRs. Freaking love these cars. We've got 5 laps here, so let's see what we can do. Kind of maintaining 3rd place for the time being. Down the straight, we are maintaining pace with them. But wait, is that a Cervera speed 12? Nah, that's not happening just now. Let's sail across the pond and have a look at the American races here. Got the Shelby Cobra Cup, and this is a really tight course. Yeah, no chance. While we're in the States, let's have a look at the American races. I'm pretty sure I filled out my visa. Okay, I'll see if I can get that sorted out, but let's see if they'll let us into the convertible races now. Yeah, nice, and these should be really easy at this point. Yeah, as expected, miles ahead on all 3 of these races. What is that? Bro looks like he has a mustache. So with that out of the way, we complete the beginner events. I thought we'd get a car here, but I guess not. In Gran Turismo 3 you do for completing each of the tiered event categories. So I guess we step into professional events now. Let's have a quick go at the Clubman Cup. I've no idea what the step up in difficulty is going to be, but I guess we'll find out. And I just remembered I should have a quick look at the transmission settings, and that looks very, very close by default. So I'm just kind of stepping that out a bit. And also, this has got a wang on it now, so might as well increase the downforce so that it actually does something. And let's pump the nitrous power up a little bit. And a couple of tweaks to the suspension setup as well here. We're off to a fantastic start in the Clubman Cup by the looks of things. Nicely ahead, nicely ahead. But we get denied the win by this Lotus Elise. I just try again with B-Spec. I'm just watching to see how the B-Spec driver actually takes these corners. And when asking to push hard, we are freaking pinballing all over the place off the walls. And I also wanted to see what the gearing was like, and it actually seems a bit long. So I'm just tweaking it a bit shorter to see if that helps us get the win, which unfortunately it doesn't. We're still stuck behind. So I jump behind the wheel myself and give this a crack. For some reason, we can be much more aggressive into the corners than the B-Spec driver can, and this is pretty light work. By the end of the first lap, we are just in first place by like a smidge. Can we keep it though? Or is the Lotus going to pull ahead? Houston, we've run out of gears, so let's increase that a little bit, and does that help at all? I'll let the evidence speak for itself. Lap 4, and yeah, very nice. For the next two races, we can hand the car back to our B-Spec driver, who does a pretty good job, winning us the cup and the Mazda Speed 6. What's the next thing? Tuning car Grand Prix. Let's see how we do. Oh dear, that's not just a little bit behind, that is significantly slower than the pack, to the point where I might not even stand a chance on A-Spec. So I try the turbo races, and we can keep up with most of the pack, but the RX-7 is just miles ahead here. Seems quite unfairly balanced. I try a different track just to see whether the cars shift a bit, and we've got a Lotus Esprit, which again is significantly ahead. World Compact. That sounds like it should be a bit easier. Yep, easy win, easy win, easy win, and easy win, and an easy win. Banana. Ah, look at him! Do we even stand a chance at the Supercar Festival? No, not a chance. Boxer Spirit. We're with the pack, but the B-Spec's not going to cut it. The professional series isn't going too well, so I decided to just smash out as many of the maker-specific races as the B-Spec driver can manage with the car in its current state. And by the time we're done, we have made significant bank, and also with the sale of quite a few nice prize cars, we are up at 752k. Oh, look at our little guy, so cool. We've done loads of races now, so do we need to change the oil again? Looks alright to me, to be fair. Our B-Spec driver has done a pretty fantastic job, to be fair, and we have completed all of the maker-specific races that we can in our current condition on B-Spec. Some of them are just flat-out no-goes, some of them we can complete some of the races in each category, but not all of them. But as you can see by our credits, we have absolutely smashed it, and we're now comfortably sitting at 33.2% completion. 1,355,000 credits. Now, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find any mods or cheats or anything that allow us access to the American, European races. The code that I have applied removes the red text here in this screen, but it still won't let you enter the race because more checks are being done behind the scenes. If anyone knows a way past this, please let me know, but for this challenge and future challenges using other cars, I will just have to ignore continent-specific races. European, American, not. I can technically enter the Japanese races, but that would be unfair on any other cars we do in the future because the races will be different depending on what continent the car is from, so I'm just going to have to ignore all of them for now. After all that, we are definitely deserved of an oil change, regardless of what colour it looks. It's definitely looking a little dark here. There we go, sir. Same colour as your t-shirt by the looks of things. Do you think he wears that t-shirt just in case he spills oil? Because the oil is yellow in this game. Oh, go on then. We can just about afford it. I think it's been clear for a while now that we can absolutely max out this car. We're going to get some super softs for the shorter races that don't require the endurance of the other tyres. Let's also grab some dirt tyres so we can complete the rally stages. I assume we'll be able to do that. Same for the snow tyres. We can also get the rigidity mods that didn't really make sense to purchase earlier. I honestly have no idea how much of a difference these two are going to make. They're bloody expensive. And as a result of that, during a normal playthrough, I don't think I've ever really bothered to get them. Now, is there anything else we haven't bought? Oh, we didn't buy the brakes, did we? We never bought the racing brakes because they were so good as it was. But I'm curious to see whether they're significantly better or about the same. And I suppose we might as well get the brake controller, and whether we use it or not is regardless. We've got so much bloody money. Drivetrain, I think we've got all of the best things in here as well. Oh, well, we might as well get the fully customizable LSD. But yeah, I'm pretty sure everything else has been completely maxed out here. Alright, so with the car in its current state, any races that I cannot win in A-Spec mode after a sensible number of tries are going to be permanently out of reach. I'm a little bored of the maker-specific races for now, so I'm going to start working my way through these professional event races just to see whether we have a chance now. Now, rather than starting the Grand Prix for the tuning car, I just want to choose one track here, Tokyo R246, to see whether we actually stand a chance. We want a longish gear ratio for this track. These are my current suspension settings, downforce a bit more on the front, LSD settings, brake balance I wasn't too sure about, but it's fine. These standing starts are always difficult because the AI drivers all have the traction control, so they get optimum traction off the line. Halfway around the first lap, we are not really doing too great, still in last place and not really looking like we're catching them, 6 seconds behind. This is only my first attempt though with the car in its current setup, so I still feel like we could do some more grip in the corners. Maybe we need a bit more camber? And I'm going to soften the front a bit as well to help the bite. Give me some more downforce. And I'm going to up it on the rear as well just to see. And let's have even more nitrous power. And longer gear ratios to help on the straight. It's a bit better. We're up into 4th place by just gone halfway round. I feel like we do have pace, but this is not the easiest track to pass on. I sneak up into 3rd place by the end of the first lap. And we do have enough speed on the main straight, but just check the tyres real quick. We are on the super softs and they are needed for us to get this pace, but even just 1.5 laps in, they are gone and we are getting nudged and taken from behind. So I know this is going to reduce our pace, but I'm just going to knock the front tyres down to softs because the rears are just chilling. And I'm going to give Tsukuba a go instead. And obviously we need lower gear ratio for this one. I drove really hard here, but by the 5th lap we are miles behind on absolutely roasted tyres. Maybe I've gone way too extreme on the camber. Let's try knocking it back and let's make it more equal as well, front to rear. And I'm just going to drop the car as low as it will go as well. I'm pushing the car to see where the limits are, and to be honest, with that camber change, it doesn't really feel that much different. So I go to the opposite extreme and just go for crazy amounts of camber, just trying to see what the car really wants, and maybe it's a bit better, it's kind of hard to tell. We're still not really finding any significant pace increase. I settle for sort of medium ground and just try and improve my lines a little bit. We're off the pace, but not by that much. I feel like if I found the perfect line around here, there might just be a chance. I make it out of last place for the first time, so up into 5th. And we are actually reducing the gap to the leader, and I sneak up into 4th place now, 3rd lap. Let's try and keep at this. The tyres are still looking good. I've got to find my way past this Porsche next. Very late braking point up to this hairpin. Can I make it happen? We're alongside. Do I have the grip and power on exit? Not quite. But it's definitely possible. Only 1.5 seconds to the leader now. Big lunge on the final hairpin and we're up into 3rd place. We just don't have the grip and power down the straight, and I'm completely out of nitrous now to get to this point, and we've still got one whole lap to go. Tyres are also starting to get a little bit cooked. And as at this point the realization hits me, the leader's pulling away again, 1.7 seconds ahead, and without the nitrous and with these tyres on their way out, the last lap just really isn't going to go to plan. Yeah, Porsche wants his place back. And by the end of the last lap, these guys are just taking all their places back. I got no nitrous, no tyres. And yeah, this ain't happening. Maybe we'll have better luck in the turbo races. We're going to need longer gear ratios for the massive straight at Fuji. Only 3 laps here, so we should be alright for tyres. And this corner, the downforce really coming into effect. And by the end of the first lap, we are sneaking past the Subaru into first place. We just have to hold it. Look how late I can brake for this corner. Fourth! Lightweight, front-wheel drive, loads of grip. And that is a win for us. That trend fortunately continues on the rest of the races in the Turbo Series. Now that the downforce is cranked up on these high-speed corners, we can slip past most of these cars and get the rest done in late braking. High-speed ring, again, another place where our downforce just works wonders. Also making use of the nitrous to get the pass done. At New York, we're in first place by the end of the first lap, and with the help of the nitrous, we maintain the gap down the home straight. And lastly, midfield raceway, pretty much a breeze as well. Nice, what a prize car from these races. It's a shame that we can't use it. Next up, Boxer Spirit. Well, I guess we are kind of a box, so we should be let in here. Up against a bunch of Scoobies and a Porsche. Braking as late as physically possible. We're taking not quite the ideal line around here, but that tactic of just sending it into the corner, it just does seem to work with this car. It just stops so quickly. And once we get into first place, we can take much better lines because we're not trying to pass anyone. And yeah, these wins are just becoming quite easy. It is nice to get into a little bit of a battle once in a while though. This Porsche is definitely putting up a fight, but yeah, it's no match for us. Finding myself crazy sideways at Deep Forest. Not sure how I managed that in this car, but there we go. This Yellowbird is an animal. Try take this around the Nürburgring in GT4. It is ridiculous. Do we stand a chance in the Supercar Festival? Wow, the opponent level has definitely stepped up here. 133-point race. What's going to happen? Standing starts are never this car's strong point. I usually just start in second, use some nitrous, and then just shift up as soon as the wheels start spinning. Seems to be the quickest way to get off the line here. Alright, I'm keeping up with the pack, and I can sneak past some of these cars with some late braking and making use of the downforce on this long swooping corner. We're up into third place. And at the end of the home straight, we are still maintaining position. Super late breakdown to this first hairpin, and I'm right up the tail of the Ford GT40. First place is a fair bit further ahead, so we'll see what we can do. We've got this nice long sweeping corner where my downforce really works well, and we are up into second place past the GT40. How freaking sick is that? Look at this tiny box taking on this racing legend. How cool does that look? On the main straight, the GT40's top speed is way higher than ours, so he takes the position back, but only briefly, as we brake as late as possible to take the position back, and hopefully with perfect lines around these corners and braking as late as possible, we do manage to maintain second place. However, we have run out of nitrous, so the GT40 is all over our tail, and yeah, on the main straight, it's just going to disappear off into the distance. And this battle here with the GT40 is only for second place. First place is 10 seconds ahead. This is not looking great. So I increased the nitrous duration just so that it hopefully lasts the whole race. And although the top speed takes a hit as a result, hopefully we can continue using it throughout the last couple of laps. But as the race goes on, we're still in third place. The leader is actually pulling away from us now, and we're just running out of tyres. Yeah, this just isn't possible. So the Tuning Car Grand Prix is out of reach, as is the Supercar Festival. The only one left in the Professional Series races now is the Gran Turismo World Championship, which it won't let us in because we haven't completed the other two races yet, so we can't even try that one. So we're kind of stuck there, but remember we have the special condition events. You're up against one component and you do each track normal and reversed. The easy level asphalt races were pretty easy to be fair, but this was a lot of fun to drive. The car is in its element zipping down these tight narrow streets. And I also had a lot of fun driving this coastal track. You can't B-spec these, they have to be done A-spec. So even though it's really easy, I've got to drive these. Few goals already, and now the next race is a Grand Canyon, which is off-road. Yeah, we need a custom suspension setup for these off-road races, so let's just do that real quick. Now we've sorted the suspension, I thought this would go quite well, but to be honest, it's absolutely dreadful. No matter what I do, I attempted this loads of times, and although the game thinks I should have a pretty easy win here, I just can't get anywhere near the other car. What about the ice and snow races? Are they the same? Pretty much. Look how far ahead the opponent is. It is just wheel spin city, and there's not really much I can do. I gave this one a go as it seemed to have a tarmac section, so I thought maybe if I can get ahead before the snow starts then we might win, but nah, because I'm forced onto the snow tyres, the asphalt section, I've got no grip there either, so... Nah, there's not a hope in hell we're completing those. We can head over to Paris though and get these out of the way because they are tarmac races. I just want to remind you, this is a PS2 game. How did they pull this off? Easily done, and Swiss Alps, that's off-road, isn't it? Yeah. And so is Tahiti. We've got some tarmac to start with, but it's forced us onto the dirt tyres, so I imagine this isn't going to end well. Okay, Tsukuba wet race. Maybe we can do that? There's no option for wet tyres in this game, so I guess we'll just stick with the super softs. First lap, can we lunge up the inside? Just about. Yep, it's definitely wet and definitely pretty slippery, but this is not difficult at all. We managed to maintain first place throughout the rest of the race. Only forward direction on that one. And that's it for tarmac races in the easy tier. We step up to the normal tier and the races are just repeated with slightly quicker cars. Now, these definitely are a bit more of a challenge, especially seeing as a lot of these tracks are very tight and winding. It's kind of difficult to get a clean pass. We give it a big squirt of nitrous down the straight, which gets us past, but this Evo stays with us pretty much for the rest of the race, and this is honestly so much fun to do. Look at this. How freaking cool does this look? Making use of literally all of the track to maintain our first position. And we get it done, and then we've just got the reverse version to tackle, which actually was a lot easier, and we built up a fair lead. That is awesome. The Coastal Capri Rally has the difficulty stepped up a little bit as well, but again, late braking, big lunge. We have a 17-second lead, so a lot easier than the tight streets. In Paris, again, the difficulty's upped a bit, and it does take us a whole lap to get past into first place, but it's pretty easy to stay there once we're there. Similar story with the wet race. We need a lap to get past, but once we're there, we're nicely ahead. There's no point even attempting any of the dirt tracks. We're now onto the hard tier of these races. But before I attempt those, I also remember we have the endurance races to tackle. Now I value my sanity and time, so it'd be nice if we can get these done in B-Spec. The most sensible tyre we've got at the moment is the medium on the front. The rears don't really seem to ever wear much. I'm just seeing what happens at Grand Valley. Whoa, we are up against some very quick race cars now. And not even one lap in, we're like 20 seconds behind. That's never going to work. Laguna Seca, the cars don't look quite as intense here. Let's see what happens. Nah, lap 3, we're 22 seconds behind, so that's not happening. But the Roads to 4 Hours Endurance is a walk in the park. Lap 3, we have a 20-second lead this time. And that's a very easy win. Yo, what a machine that is. Tokyo R246. Touring car, race car, no, we're not going to stand a chance on that one. Super Speedway, nah, definitely not. Nürburgring 4 Hour. Okay, that's some more normal looking cars. We're going to need a longer gear ratio for the huge straight on the back end of this track. Now by lap 2, we're battling for second place, but my tyres are not looking great. We've only literally done 1 and a bit laps and we're in the pits. Now this wouldn't be a problem if all the other cars also needed to pit at about the same time, but unfortunately they don't. We just are burning through our medium fronts much faster than any of the other cars are. Let's try the Twin Ring 8 Hours Endurance. Alright, sensible looking cars that we're up against. We slip into first place by lap 4, however by lap 16 we're down into third again because our tyres are just absolutely cooked and none of the other cars are pitting yet, so this isn't going to work. For these endurance races, I'm going to need some harder tyres. So let's grab the super hards to give us the most endurance possible. And looks like we need to refresh the rigidity again. Might as well do that. We're going to have a look at New York 200 miles. We're up against some non-race cars here, so maybe there's a chance. Second lap, our hard tyres are warmed up, but the package is pulling away, so that's not going to work. El Capitan 200 miles. Again, the cars here might suggest that we have a chance. Unfortunately, absolutely not the case. Cooked tyres by the 7th lap and we're miles behind. What about Tsukuba 9 Hour Endurance? Who are we up against here? Okay, maybe we can do this one. By lap 12, we are in second place, but the NSX that's taking first is absolutely miles ahead. So I back out and go in again to get a different lineup of opponents in the hope that the NSX isn't there, but to be honest, the rest of these cars are even worse. And we don't stand a chance on that one. Okay, let's go back into Montegay 8 Hour Endurance. Now that we've got some harder tyres, this might work. Lap 7, we are in 4th place and don't really seem to be gaining on the cars ahead, so no, unfortunately not. And the rest of those endurance races contain very fast race cars, so that's as much as we can do. So we'll hop back over to the special condition events and let's give the Capri Rally hard a go. Now this is a really fun challenge. We're up against this Evo here and I do slip into first place just by late braking at this hairpin. And the challenge is going to be maintaining the lead because this Evo is quick and it handles really well as well. I drive the best I can and make good use of the NOS, and we do make the win. On the reverse race, we're up against this Peugeot now, which has an issue on the first hairpin, but nonetheless, I can't catch it after that. It is just super nimble through this circuit. 11 seconds ahead. So I back out and go in again, and this time I'm up against a slightly different Evo, I think that is. And although the same class of car, I guess, it was much slower around this track, so I was able to maintain first place. How's the Paris rally gonna go? We're up against that Peugeot 205 again, and we've got a 200-point race on our hands. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Nope, absolutely miles ahead. I know this track pretty well now and I'm driving it really well, but yeah, 10 seconds, yeah, but this is not working. What are we up against in the wet Tsukuba race? Oh. Yeah, no. So where do we go from here? I'm going to try some endurance races on A-Spec. We're back at Laguna Seca and I just want to see whether I can get into first and stay there for a reasonable amount of time. Unfortunately, no, can barely take fifth on that race. What about a twin ring? We have a 10-point A-Spec race, so really this should be doable. S2000 sketchy on exit will up into 5th place. We're able to make our way into first place by the end of the first lap, and by the end of lap 6 we've built up a 24-second lead. Our tyres are looking alright, they're pretty well balanced between front and rear, and even though we have to take a couple more pit stops than the opponents, we're just so much quicker that this race is a pretty easy win. Now we know that I'm much quicker on A-Spec with these endurance races than the B-Spec driver, I'm giving Tsukuba another look. And by lap 17 I've built up a 27-second lead, tyres are starting to look a little bit shot at this point. So I dive into the pits and I just need to be able to exit the pits still ahead of the second place opponent. He's coming down the main straight, but we are able to pull out in front and we've got fresh tyres so we can start building up that lead again. So that's going to be a pretty easy win, getting us the Calsonic Skyline that we can't drive. So doing all those special event races and the endurances, we're up at 45.5% completion. What can we do next? I remember that with all the model specific races, I only ever attempted them in B-Spec because I was trying to build up some cash. So there's a bunch of these I haven't even attempted in A-Spec, like the Aston Martin race here. So I'll spend some time working my way through all of the single make races of each country now in A-Spec to get as many of these golds as I possibly can. The Aston Martins don't put up much of a challenge, even though my tyres get absolutely cooked here at Hong Kong. We struggled against the TVRs before with the B-Spec driver, let's see how we do in A-Spec. Laguna Seca is an absolute walk in the park. At Fuji though, this main straight continues to give me a bit of grief with cars having a lot more power than we do. This Cerbera Speed 12 comes flying past, but has to brake super early for the hairpin so we can take back first place, and by the last lap we have enough of a lead to hold him off down the straight. Who thought the Honda City could outpace the Cerbera Speed 12? What the heck? We should be able to fly through the Elise Trophy now, and actually I think we can do this on B-Spec. The car is set up a lot better now, yeah, easy. I'm smashing through the German races now, and we find ourselves at the Green Hell for the very first time. To be honest, the suspension setup is way too low and stiff for this track. I forget this is very bumpy and uneven this track is. But driving this A-Spec was so much fun. I know the Nürburgring really well. And I have a really good bit of back and forth with this Mercedes here, like down some of the straights, because we've got a lot of downforce and not a lot of top speed. It comes past, but then I'm able to sneak down the inside and brake late, so we have a really good little battle here around the ring. Coming into the last few corners, I've built up a bit of a lead, which I know I'm going to need because this massive last straight is definitely going to be a problem for our Honda City. The gap is closing, but by the end of the main straight we are still just ahead, and I crossed the finish line only a second ahead, which for such a long track is a very small margin. Now for Opera in Paris, I'm trying this on B-Spec, which I think is definitely possible if we get a decent lineup of opponents. So I back out of it and go in a few times, which gets us the win. The SL challenge is super easy, smash through that and win ourselves all golds and the prize car. The Beetle Cup was a walk in the park as well. And shortly we find ourselves at 50% completion in the Honda City Turbo 2, winning us the Jaguar XJR9 race car. What a machine. With only 2 races standing in our way now, I decided to try giving the Supercar Festival a go in the sim rig, just to see whether the tyre wear is any less, having better control over the inputs, especially the accelerator, and not having to steer so much and understeering, heating the tyres up like crazy. So It's instantly clear that I can be a lot smoother around here rather than darting left and right and suddenly braking and wheel spinning with the controller. I'm gradually working my way up the pack, and by lap 3, halfway through the race, we are in second position. It's a little bit back and forth with this GT40 just because he has the power down the straights, but I have downforce and a bit better cornering. And going into lap 4, the Zonda ahead in first place is 2 seconds ahead. So we have gained on it up to this point, but it's just going to be whether our tyres and nitrous allow us to maintain that. We make a big dive into the first hairpin, and we are in first place for a fraction of a second, but obviously he's got the better line through that corner really, so takes first place back, and I've just got to try and stay in the tow all the way up this straight, and just try and stay as close as I can. These high speed bends towards the end of the lap, I'm able to make a move down the inside and take first place. Am I going to hold it? He comes back alongside and slightly ahead, but has to brake earlier than me for this final corner, and provided my line through here is good, it's alright. I do stick it in first place to end off this lap, but as you can imagine, I just get immediately passed down the straight. And unfortunately that happened before the start finish line, so I need to get ahead and build up a lead so that by the final lap I'm still ahead by the start finish line. I take first place again on the lead up to the first hairpin. The line through there was pretty horrendous, but he is still behind. Now I seem a bit slow here, and he takes first place back, but I'm not using my nitrous just because I've got 2 laps remaining and I've only got 2 bars left, and I know that that's not going to actually do me the whole rest of the race, so I'm just kind of saving a little bit there. And instead I'm trying to stay in the tow, in the slipstream, so that I can stay close. I am still in the slipstream up the straight, but he is pulling away, and even if I get a perfect line through these high-speed corners, I'm not really going to be passing. Oh, a little wide there, and annoyingly I put my camera over where the tyre wear indicator was. But at this point in the race, my tyres are massively on their way out, and I can get kind of close towards the end of the lap here by the main straight. But you'll notice that instead of building up a lead, I'm actually behind where I was on lap 4. Using up the last of this nitrous now, and he's 1.3 seconds ahead. Last lap, I'm still in second place. He's not that far ahead, but I'm really having to take these corners much slower than I was earlier on in the race, just because my tyres are now basically gone. .2 seconds ahead, and with more power on the straight, there's no chance that I can get past by the end of the lap. Also, without the help of the nitrous, the GT40 sneaks past, and I'm back into third place by the finish line, so yeah. I decided to try the tuning car Grand Prix next, and this is Apricot Hill in that series. First lap, I'm sort of making my way through the pack again, up into third place. Up front we've got a spicy Yellowbird, and we've only got 3 laps here, so this might be better. Flying down the main straight in the slipstream of the Yellowbird, and I am able to sneak past by this first corner, so I'm up into second place now on the second lap. All I've got left to do is get past this S2000, which I manage on this hairpin. Now I've just got to better pull away and stay ahead. Those lunges don't really give you the best exit line, but I am still ahead. To get to this point though, I've had to absolutely burn through my nitrous, and last lap we have a 1.3 second lead from the S2000 behind, but tyres are gone, nitrous is gone, and sadly the last corner of the last lap, he's 0.2 seconds behind, and I just don't have any grip on this final corner, so end up going wide, and no nitrous down the straight either. It's very easy for everyone to just start coming past, and I think I end this in third place again. So although we got kind of close on a couple of those races, to get first place in all of these tracks in these Grand Prix or series is going to be really, really difficult. It would probably take many, many attempts and getting luck just perfect with how the AI are driving and stuff like that. Realistically, it's not doable in the scope of this challenge. So we're at the point now where we've done pretty much everything that this car can do. So the point where we get stuck is professional events. We can't do the tuning car, we can't do the supercar festival, and as a result of that, it won't let us into the Gran Turismo World Championships, which we probably wouldn't be able to do anyway. But with that said, this car has made it to 56% completion of the entire game, which personally I think is absolutely wild. This is just supposed to be a convenient little, not quite a K car, but like close. Little Japanese shopping go-getter, little run around the town box, and it has made it through some crazy races up against some really powerful, really legendary components, and yeah, you can't really fault it for that. If I could find a way to get into the continent-specific races, then we would be able to up the percentage even further, probably to gone 60%, I imagine. So yeah, if anyone has an idea of how to get past this, let me know. And there were only a small handful of maker-specific races that I couldn't do. Like, for example, like these Celine Club races were absolutely amazing to drive. I had some great battles here. I ended up showing the footage just because it was getting too long. But I almost completed these. The only one that I just had no chance at was the Le Mans track, because that massive straight, I just don't have the top speed and power that these Celines do. But I was able to kind of nip past them on a lot of tight bends in the rest of these tracks. And we were just able to peak into the hard tier of the special condition events with the Costa di Amalfi. So that's pretty crazy. We've driven about 2,000 miles in our little box from 1983, and with 220 brake in a car weighing less than 700 kilos, this honestly surpassed my expectations. But there's one last curiosity I have that we haven't really tested on this car. What is its maximum top speed? Can we get anywhere near 200 mile an hour in this? I've definitely seen like 150, 160, but obviously we've not had this set up perfectly for top speed runs. So what we're going to need to do is go into the setup here, get rid of all of our downforce, okay, because that's going to massively impede our top speed. And if we take a peek here at the power curve, you can see that the power and torque really sort of tops out. Well, it's hard to tell because of the scaling on the bottom here, but maybe around 5,000 RPM is actually where we have the most power and torque. So ideally, I should be shifting about sort of 5,500, maybe 6K. And to maximize our top speed, what I want to try and optimize is getting the car to top out and not be able to go any quicker while the revs are at about sort of 5K, 5,500, because that's where we know most of the power is. So I'm going to massively lengthen the gear ratio here, and I'm also going to turn the nitrous up to maximum power, minimum duration, so that we get the absolute most power we possibly can. Suspension wise, I don't think is that important. I think we want to be like nice and low, and I think we want to have the rear wheels like dead straight, and I think maybe the front wheels as well. Like, we don't really want any angles dragging them to the side at all, which is beneficial for, you know, circuit racing and cornering and stuff, but just for going absolutely dead straight as fast as you can, you want minimum friction. So possibly even a slight toe in, because as you're driving fast, the wheels may want to push out ever so slightly. But let's go for a run and see what happens. 175. Okay, the gearing is actually a little close. We need to drag that out a bit further because we're into the red line now. We see 181, 182. So longer gearing needed. And also, I forgot, we should definitely do an oil change because it adds like a couple of extra brake horsepower. Okay, so longer gear ratios, do that. All right, there's 180, and we're still a fair bit away from the red line. Can we hit 190? We've reached the corner, and I'm trying to just turn really, really gently here so we don't scrub off any speed, but 189. No, okay, so I need to start nossing before the end of the last bend so we get the full length of the straight. 189, 190, 190 mile an hour in a 1983 box, and we maybe could have gone a little further, but I've hit the corner a little early again, so I think I need to start nitrosing even earlier on that first bend. I'm just curious if we go even longer on the gears, what happens? 191. There's our 192, and yeah, I don't think this has got any more in it. We hit the corner. So 192 mile an hour. That's literally, what, 8 mile an hour away from 200. That's absolutely ridiculous. I've no idea whether messing around with the suspension settings would get us any closer, but that's where we're going to leave it for now. 192. So 56% completion, 192 mile an hour, and an absolute bucket load of fun. This has been an honest joy to make and to do these races with this car. I've grown so fond of it. It has surpassed all my expectations, and let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy this? Are there any things you would have done differently? Are there any things that you'd like to see with this car? For example, how quick can it lap the Nordschleife or any other tracks on here? Also, let me know, what car would you like to see me do this with next? GT4 has the biggest selection of cars out of all the Gran Turismos, so there's so much to choose from, and I'm probably more keen on doing a kind of underdog, like cheap, low power cars like this one, and just seeing how far they can make it through the game, rather than choosing like a quick car or a race car or something, because that, to me, that's a bit less fun. If you've made it this far in the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe as well if you want to see more of these. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.